thank Res Consulting for agreeing to collaborate with us in the program here at the Gate ICT Cadet Training Facility. This particular training exercise is actually under the Human Entrepreneurship and Assistive Resource Technologies project, and the details of that project were going to be announced in the coming weeks. Suffice it to say that we have made a very important decision to assist young girls, young women, those who are still in high school maybe, those who are at the Antigua State College or Abbott or Abyss, to begin focusing on entrepreneurship and business in addition to career options. In other words, don't just think career, think business. And with the world becoming literally a small global village, your business clients are not necessarily just those in Antigua and Barbuda or just the surrounding OECS countries, but literally with the internet at your disposal, your products, your ideas, your services can reach a global marketplace. Studies have shown that if we invest in entrepreneurship education, while you are still at school, you are more likely to think business, and you are more likely to think about developing and forming your own business and hiring other people in your business, as opposed to you seeking a career option where you are looking for employment. I want to say that we are investing very heavily in entrepreneurship education, and the government has commissioned this facility, and in addition to training cadets, in addition to providing them with skill sets that I think they could use later on in life to not only start their own business but to think global, that we are using the very same facility now to offer a parallel track of training in business. So next weekend, a separate group of young women will be here to be trained by Terry Ann Brathwaite, and we also have 2 other sessions, and I'm mentioning them because if you know of anyone who is interested, you may want to encourage them. One is on startup business. This is aimed at individuals who have a great business idea and are looking to develop it and are looking to mature it to the point of fruition where the business can actually get going. The government will provide will select through Res Consulting 5 persons from those startup weekends, startup sessions, and see if we can work with them to developing their own business. And we also have a forum for existing entrepreneurs who want to retool and want to interact with an outfit that can help them to understand the competitiveness in the marketplace in this particular time here in Antigua and Barbuda. So there are basically 3 components under this particular program that we're running in terms of entrepreneurship. One is targeting young women, one is targeting existing businesses, and one is targeting individuals and or companies that have business ideas but are trying to get to the next step. I want to say to you that, you know, Ms. Brathwaite brings a world of experience. You should try to be a super sponge and take everything on board, and don't use this particular 2-day workshop as the end. Use it as the beginning of a stepping stone to a whole series of things you could either undertake as you leave school, either by yourself or with your family or with your friends or with people who share common business interests, but look at it as a training ground for yourself, and it triggers in your mind something that says, I need to understand more about the world of business. I want to become an entrepreneur. The world is my target market, and I can make money and I can live a productive and fruitful life. So I want to welcome you folks here today. You've made a very important and I think very bold decision. I understand from Terry Ann that the interactions you've had this morning have been very powerful, and I'd like to invite Terry Ann to share a few words with us, and then we'll leave you to get on with the business of the a life-changing workshop as it pertains to young women in business. Terry-Ann?
Okay, thank you very much. And I just want to, on behalf of Francis and myself, say to the young ladies, we said it before, it has been a very interesting morning. I am most impressed by the fact that we have a group of some 22, 25 young ladies, and we have 22 to 25 potential businesses, new ideas. Okay, you are engaged, you are articulate. I don't think any of you would say that where you were this morning, you are right now. Are you ready for your revolution? You are ready for your revolution. And one of the most important things I think that we've realized is that in business, your view is to build on the foundation that already exists with several leaders in business, in politics, in education, in many fields. And one of the things that we're going to do this evening is to think of how do you define the legacy that you leave. So 10 years from now, what will the business landscape in Antigua be like because of this revolution that you have just started? So I'm going to do one other thing. I'm going to put all of you on a spot. The last exercise that we did, I asked you, we have the definition of entrepreneurship. It's the pursuit of an opportunity without regard to resources at your disposal. And we said that you have talents and you have to be prepared. If you meet one of your icons, what would you ask? Right now, yes, it's not a woman, but you're in the presence of a minister of government, a minister of state, one who is a professional, a doctor by profession. So, I'm not going to ask anyone. I'm testing the readiness. Minister, would you allow 4 questions from our ladies?
Good evening. I would like to ask, who or what inspired you to go on this career path which you have undertaken?
I see myself as an agent of change. I had obviously succeeded in my medical career, and I got an opportunity to serve in government. And I feel that serving really has to have an element of change, where change is marked by preparing our society to become globally competitive. And preparing our society meant preparing the economy, preparing the country. And I felt very strongly that preparing young people was very critical. And that's why I began rolling out a lot of hardware and technology into primary schools, then got to secondary schools. And I think that the true beneficiaries of what we are trying to do now would be the young people I see here today. And they will be the true beneficiaries of all the revolutions, including the IT revolution here. So to answer your question more specifically, the person who inspired me was God.
As Ms. Tarian said, that you are both a doctor and in the ministry. What do you still have that passion that you had when you started to be a doctor? Is it different from your passion for the ministry than for doctorate?
In medicine, usually when you look after patients, you can potentially see results a lot quicker. By that I mean somebody comes into your medical office or they're in hospital and you look after them, and within a week or two, hopefully, or within a couple of days, they're getting better. So I would say in that career, one sees results a lot quicker, and you can have a profound impact on someone's life, especially if they're critically ill. Medicine requires a lot of passion, it requires a lot of commitment, it requires a lot of dedication, and it requires a lot of personal self-discipline. So that is the medical side. And just in passing, I am still a licensed medical practitioner here in Antigua. I have my license valid up to 2016. I keep up with my continuing medical education credits. In government, the results are a little bit more long-term. They require significantly more hard work. It definitely requires team spirit. It requires a sense of purpose, and it requires, and that's why most of my team here at Gate are in the room, it requires everybody to see the bigger picture. The bigger picture really means providing for me individuals, especially young people, with cutting-edge skill sets so that once they've finished high school or college, if they don't go abroad or stay online and educate themselves, they can develop those skill sets where they can truly compete, not just here, wherever they go. There are people right now in this room who we hired a few years ago who were not globally competitive. Right now, many of them are. And I'm sorry if I use this gentleman here as an example, Marlon Carr. Marlon holds 2 separate degrees, and when he first joined us, I would say he was fairly green. Marlon now has the opportunity and has the skill sets to work anywhere in the world in the field of new media, photography, videography, editing, film production, etc. And Marlon has been with us for about 3 years now, I think. So the results are a bit more long-term, but he would be a very good example of someone who came into the ministry, has acquired skill sets that are sufficiently rapid enough. So if he decided, look, I want to venture out on my own and start my own business, he has the skill sets, and he would be a good example of what we're trying to do with some of the cadets. Okay?
What advice would you give to someone who was interested in your career path?
As a medical doctor or as a
Politician.
My advice would be get yourself a good education and understand the philosophical leanings of the political parties of the day, what they stand for. And when I say philosophical leanings, I'm talking about hardcore philosophical leanings. Do they stand for a platform that is progressive, that is modern, that is chic, that understands young people? And do they understand what it takes to make you into a success? You see, I feel very strongly that the state has an obligation, the government of the day, any government of the day has an obligation to put programs and policies into place that are meaningful and that they can change people's lives positively. Now, what is positive for you may not be so positive for that person over there. But if you can allocate resources, both financial resources and human resources, and by extension material resources, so that you can create the greatest good for the greatest number of people, then you're on the right track. And in my scheme of things, I've been in government for 10 years. I have learned, sometimes a little painfully, what it takes to get to that ethos, that concept where with limited resources we can provide the greatest good for the greatest number of people. And that has not been done in isolation by myself. I have a great team of people that have worked with me. I can't say I agree with them all the time, but suffice it to say we are onto something strong, solid, and positive with this training facility. And the fact that you're sitting here in a room with somebody with the background and experience like Terry Ann leads me to believe that we're on the right track. Thank you very much. Thank you, and good luck to everybody. Thank you very much.